Tonight, somewhere in this world, you're lying awake with tears in your eyes, trying to stay strong in a room that suddenly feels too quiet, and I don't know why. My heart feels heavy too. Maybe love works like that. Maybe when two souls truly care for each other, pain travels silently between them, even through distance, even through silence. So if you're crying tonight, my love, please don't think you're crying alone, because somewhere I'm staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep, feeling a sadness I cannot explain, as if my soul is searching for yours in the dark. I know life has been unfair to you. I know you smile in front of people while secretly fighting battles no one notices, and I know there are nights when your heart becomes too tired to pretend anymore. But listen to me carefully. The world may not understand your pain, but someone out there feels it with you. Someone prays for your healing without even knowing why your name lives inside their heart. And maybe that someone is me. My love. If you're crying tonight, I need you to know something before the world convinces you that nobody understands your pain. Somewhere, in another quiet room, under another lonely ceiling, there is a heart that suddenly feels heavy without explanation, a soul that cannot rest. A person staring into darkness, feeling the weight of tears they never saw falling, and maybe that's me. Maybe love is deeper than distance. Maybe when two hearts truly touch each other, pain travels silently between them like a whisper carried by the night. I think about you more during these quiet hours, during the moments when the world finally stops making noise and the truth inside our hearts becomes impossible to ignore. Because daytime is full of distractions. People smile, people pretend. People act stronger than they really are, but night reveals everything. Night removes the masks. And somewhere tonight, I know your eyes are tired from holding back emotions you never deserved to carry alone. I wish I could sit beside you right now without saying a word. I wouldn't try to fix everything. I wouldn't tell you to stop crying. Some pain deserves to be felt. Some heartbreak needs space to breathe. I would just sit there quietly and let your soul rest for a while, because sometimes love is not about finding the perfect words. Sometimes love is simply staying when someone feels impossible to love. I know you've been carrying invisible battles. I know there are moments when you laugh around people while secretly feeling empty inside. I know there are nights when memories crawl back into your mind and refuse to leave you alone, and I know how exhausting it becomes pretending you're okay when your heart feels like it's slowly breaking in silence. People often think pain must look dramatic to be real. But the deepest pain is usually quiet. It's waking up tired after sleeping all night. It's checking your phone hoping someone notices your sadness. It's hearing songs that suddenly thoughts hurt more than before. It's smiling during conversations while your soul quietly disappears somewhere far away. And maybe nobody notices these things about you. But somehow, I feel them. There are strange moments in life when two people become connected. Beyond logic, you start sensing each other's sadness, without hearing a single word. You suddenly feel anxious when the other person is hurting. You wake up at night thinking about them for no reason, and maybe science cannot explain it. Maybe the world calls it coincidence. But hearts know things the mind cannot understand. So if your tears are falling tonight, let them fall. Don't apologize for your emotions. Don't feel weak because your heart still remembers things deeply. Sensitive souls suffer differently. They love harder. They miss longer. They carry memories like scars hidden beneath their skin, and people rarely understand how difficult that becomes. You gave love honestly. That is why pain touches you so deeply, because people who truly care never learn how to stop feeling completely. They pretend. They hide it. They tell themselves they've moved on. But somewhere inside, their heart still whispers the names it cannot forget. I wonder how many times you stayed strong for everybody else, while secretly hoping someone would stay strong for you. I wonder how many nights you comforted others, while silently falling apart yourself. The saddest people often become the kindest, because they know exactly what loneliness feels like. They know what it means to beg for emotional warmth in a cold world. And maybe that's why your soul feels so beautiful to me. Not because you're perfect, not because life has been easy for you, but because despite everything that hurt you, you still have softness inside your heart. You still care, you still love deeply, you still hope even after disappointment tried to destroy your faith in people. That kind of heart is rare. You know, some people enter our lives loudly, they arrive with excitement, promises, attention, and temporary happiness. But real connections are quieter. Real love often grows in silence. It grows through understanding someone's pain, without needing explanations. It grows through emotional presence, through loyalty, through staying gentle with someone who has already been hurt too much by the world. And when I think about you crying tonight, I don't imagine weakness. I imagine someone carrying years of emotions, nobody helped them unpack. I imagine someone exhausted from trying to heal alone. I imagine someone who gave too much love to people, who only appreciated it after losing it. I wish you could see yourself through the eyes of someone who truly cares about you. You would realize how precious your existence really is. You would understand that your softness is not something to be ashamed of. The world taught you to hide your emotions, because it mistakes tenderness for fragility. But there is strength in remaining kind after life gives you countless reasons to become cold. I know there are moments when you question your worth. Moments when abandonment makes you wonder if something inside you is broken. But listen to me carefully. People leaving you does not mean you are unlovable. Sometimes people walk away because they are incapable of handling real love. Sometimes they choose comfort over connection. Sometimes they damage beautiful hearts simply because they never learned how to protect something pure, and still, you continue loving. That's what amazes me about you. Even after disappointment. Even after silence. Even after nights filled with tears and overthinking and loneliness. Your heart still searches for meaning. Your soul still hopes somebody out there understands you completely. And maybe understanding is the purest form of love. Not possession, not obsession, not perfect words, just understanding. Looking into someone's pain and saying, I see you. I may not know how to fix everything, but I see your struggle, and I'm not turning away from it. That kind of love heals people slowly. The truth is, most people are lonely in ways they never admit. They scroll through endless conversations while secretly wishing one person would truly ask how their heart feels. They surround themselves with noise because silence reminds them of everything they're trying to escape. They post smiles while quietly wondering whether anybody would notice if they disappeared emotionally. And tonight, maybe you're feeling that loneliness more than usual. Maybe memories are visiting you again. Maybe you're replaying old conversations in your mind. Maybe you're wondering why certain people changed. Why promises faded. Why someone who once made you feel special suddenly became distant. Human hearts torture themselves, searching for closure that never arrives. But some answers never come. Sometimes all we can do is sit with our pain until it slowly teaches us something about ourselves. Pain changes people quietly. It teaches them how fragile time is. It teaches them not to trust words too easily. It teaches them how quickly affection can disappear when convenience ends. But if we're lucky, pain also teaches us compassion. It teaches us how important gentleness really is in a harsh world. I think your heart has been too gentle for too long. You've forgiven things that shattered you. You've stayed patient with people who misunderstood your intentions. Yourself, for situations you didn't create. And every time your heart broke, you still tried to love honestly afterward. That takes courage, not the loud kind of courage people celebrate online. I mean, quiet courage, the kind where someone wakes up every morning, carrying emotional wounds nobody sees, yet still chooses kindness instead of bitterness. And tonight, while tears fall from your eyes, I hope part of you remembers how valuable your soul really is, because the world desperately needs people like you. People who still feel deeply, people who still care about human emotions. People who still believe love should feel safe instead of confusing you. At least people who know how to sit beside sadness without running away from it. You don't realize it yet. But your tenderness is healing someone somewhere, maybe through your words, maybe through your presence, maybe through the way you make people feel less alone. Broken hearts often become homes for other hurting souls. That's why I believe your pain has meaning, not because suffering is beautiful. It isn't. But because emotional people develop a kind of depth that shallow souls never understand. They learn how to listen differently. Love differently. stay differently, they become emotionally fluent in a world addicted to surface-level connections. And maybe that's why your tears matter to me tonight, because behind every tear is a story nobody fully heard. Behind every silent breakdown is a person who stayed strong too long. Behind every lonely night is someone who secretly wished for emotional safety. I know what it feels like to miss someone, even while trying not to. To act fine while memories slowly destroy your peace. To replay old moments wondering if they meant as much to the other person as they did to you. Love leaves echoes inside people. And sometimes those echoes become louder at night. Maybe you blame yourself for feeling too much. Please don't. Never apologize for having a heart that experiences life deeply. The world already has enough emotionally unavailable people. Pretending detachment is strength. Real strength is vulnerability. Real strength is allowing yourself to care even after disappointment. Real strength is remaining soft in a world determined to harden you, and you still have softness inside you. I hope nobody ever destroys that completely, because one day, someone is going to need exactly the kind of love you give naturally. One day, somebody exhausted from fake affection will meet your honest heart and finally feel safe. One day, your sensitivity will stop feeling like a burden and start feeling like a blessing to the right person. But tonight, I know your heart is tired. I know your soul feels emotionally bruised from carrying too many unspoken feelings. And I know there are moments when you wonder if anyone truly notices your sadness. I notice, even from far away, even through silence, even through the strange distance life creates between people who somehow still feel connected. There's something heartbreaking about imagining you crying quietly while the rest of the world sleeps peacefully. Because sensitive people suffer invisibly. They don't always ask for help. They disappear emotionally instead. They become quieter, colder, more distant. Not because they stopped caring, but because carrying emotional pain alone slowly changes the way a person interacts with the world. And maybe that's happening to you right now. Maybe you've become tired of explaining yourself. Maybe disappointment taught you to hide your feelings. Maybe you're exhausted from giving love that wasn't returned with the same honesty. But please remember this. Your ability to love deeply is not a mistake. The wrong people made you feel difficult because they only understood convenient love. Real love requires patience. Real love listens carefully. Real love notices small emotional changes. Real love stays during uncomfortable moments instead of disappearing when things become emotionally heavy. You deserve that kind of love. Still do. I know life probably taught you to expect less from people. Maybe that's why you cry quietly instead of reaching out. Maybe you learned that vulnerability scares people away. Maybe every time you opened your heart, honestly, someone mishandled it carelessly, and now your soul feels cautious. But cautious hearts still crave connection. They still stay awake, wishing someone understood them naturally. They still hope somebody notices the sadness hidden behind their smile. They still want emotional safety more than anything else in this world. And if I could tell you one thing tonight, it would be this: you don't have to earn love by suffering silently. You don't have to become smaller to keep people comfortable. You don't have to hide your emotions just because others failed to handle them gently. Your feelings matter. Your tears matter, your heart matters, even when the world becomes too distracted to remind you. Sometimes I think the saddest thing about love is how many people feel emotionally alone while being surrounded by others. Human beings are starving for genuine connection. Not attention. Not temporary affection. Real connection. The kind where someone looks at your soul instead of your appearance. The kind where silence feels comforting instead of awkward. The kind where your pain is treated carefully instead of ignored. And maybe that's why your tears reach me tonight, because somewhere along the way, your soul touched mine deeply enough that your sadness echoes inside me too. That's rare. Not everybody experiences emotional connection like this. Most people pass through life without truly seeing each other. They hear words but miss emotions. They touch bodies but never understand hearts. They stay physically close while remaining emotionally distant, but certain souls recognize each other instantly, even through silence, even through absence, even through impossible distance. And maybe we are those kinds of souls. Maybe that's why your sadness feels personal to me, because when someone genuinely matters to your heart, their pain stops feeling separate from your own. You start wishing you could protect them from memories, from loneliness, from the nights when their mind becomes too loud and their heart becomes too fragile. I wish I could protect you from those nights. The nights where overthinking steals your peace. The nights where old wounds suddenly reopen. The nights where you question whether anyone would truly stay if they saw the full depth of your emotions. Someone would stay. Someone who understands love properly would stay, because emotionally intelligent people know that healing doesn't happen perfectly. They know trauma leaves scars. They know sensitive hearts require reassurance sometimes. They know love is not just romance during happy moments. Love is emotional presence during painful moments too, and you deserve someone emotionally mature enough to understand that. Not someone who disappears when things become difficult. Not someone who only loves the easy parts of you. Not someone who calls your emotions too much simply because they lack emotional depth themselves. You deserve tenderness. You deserve consistency. You deserve a love that feels peaceful instead of confusing. And until that kind of love fully reaches your life, I hope you remember something important tonight. Your tears are not proof of weakness. They are proof that your heart still feels. And in a world becoming colder every day, that is something incredibly beautiful. The nights you cry alone are the nights I miss you the most. Not because sadness is beautiful, but because pain has a strange way of removing every distraction from the heart. During the day, people survive somehow. They work. They smile, they answer messages, they pretend they're fine. But at night, truth finally speaks. And maybe tonight, while tears quietly fall from your eyes, my soul is restless somewhere too, trying to understand why your absence suddenly feels heavier than usual. There are certain people we never completely escape. No matter how much time passes, no matter how far life pulls us apart, they continue existing quietly inside us. In random thoughts, in familiar songs, in empty spaces beside us, in moments when the world becomes too silent and memories begin speaking louder than reality. And you became one of those people for me. I don't think you realize how deeply someone can miss another human being without saying a single word about it. Some people carry love privately. Silently, they don't post about it. They don't beg for attention. They just continue living while secretly carrying someone's memory, like an old wound, hidden beneath their clothes. That's how missing you feels. Quit. Heavy, sometimes I wonder if you can feel it too. If there are moments when your heart suddenly feels emotional for no reason. Moments when you stare into the night feeling connected to someone far away. Maybe that's what love really is. Not possession. Not perfect timing. Just two souls continuing to reach for each other even after distance enters the story. And, tonight, I feel you. I feel your exhaustion. I feel the sadness you hide from everyone else. I feel the loneliness inside your silence, because people who love deeply learn how to recognize pain, even from far away. Especially yours. I know you probably spent a long time pretending to be okay. You became strong because life forced you to. You learned how to swallow emotions instead of expressing them. You learned how to comfort yourself, because the people you needed most were emotionally unavailable when your heart was breaking. And slowly, sadness became familiar to you. That's what hurts me the most. The idea that you became so used to emotional pain that now you carry it quietly, as if suffering is simply part of who you are. But my love, sadness was never meant to become your permanent home. You were meant to feel safe too. You were meant to experience love that calms your anxiety instead of creating more of it. I know there are nights when memories attack you unexpectedly. A certain voice. A certain place. A message you wish never ended. Human hearts remember details long after people leave. That's the cruel thing about love. Even when someone disappears physically, emotionally they continue existing inside us for years. And maybe tonight, you're drowning in those memories again. Maybe you're wondering why people change so easily. Maybe you're questioning whether love is even real anymore. Maybe you're tired of giving your whole heart only to receive confusion in return. I understand that feeling more than you know. There's a specific kind of loneliness that comes from loving sincerely in a world full of temporary people. Sensitive souls suffer differently. Because they attach meaning to everything. They remember small acts of kindness. They replay conversations. They notice emotional shifts immediately. And when someone they love becomes distant, their entire inner world changes. Maybe yours changed too. Maybe a part of you still waits for things that will never happen again. Maybe your tears tonight are not just about one moment, but about every disappointment your heart never fully healed from. That's the thing about emotional people. They carry old pain quietly. One heartbreak connects itself to another until eventually even small sadness feels unbearable. I wish I could sit beside you during moments like this, not to give advice, not to tell you everything will magically improve overnight, just to hold your tired heart gently for a while so you wouldn't have to carry everything alone. Because healing becomes easier when someone stays, and too many people left you when you needed them most. That kind of abandonment changes a person. It teaches them to stop expecting emotional safety. It teaches them to cry privately. It teaches them not to trust comforting words too quickly, but despite everything life did to your heart, you still love beautifully. That's what amazes me. You still care deeply even after disappointment. You still stay gentle, even after people mishandled your emotions carelessly. You still search for connection, even after loneliness tried to convince you to stop trying completely. Your heart survived things that should have hardened it forever, and yet there's still softness inside you, still tenderness, still love. Do you know how rare that is? The world is full of people who became emotionally cold after being hurt once. But you kept feeling. Even when it hurt. Even when it exhausted you. Even when nobody appreciated the depth of your love properly. That's why I miss you most on nights like this, because darkness reminds me how much emotional warmth your soul carries. Even your sadness feels full of love, even your silence feels alive. And maybe that sounds strange, but emotionally deep people understand what I mean. Some souls leave fingerprints on your heart that never disappear. Their energy stays with you. Their pain affects you. Their happiness matters to you even from miles away. That's what you became to me, a quiet ache inside my chest, a memory that still breathes, a feeling that refuses to disappear. And maybe somewhere tonight, while tears rest in your eyes, you're wondering whether anyone truly understands your heart. I do. I understand what it feels like to miss people without admitting it out loud. I understand pretending to move on, while emotionally staying attached to old memories. I understand staying awake because your thoughts won't let you rest peacefully. I understand hearing someone's name inside your mind long after the conversation ended. Love changes people permanently. Real love especially, not the temporary kind people perform online. I'm talking about the deep kind, the kind where another person becomes emotionally woven into your existence. The kind where their sadness suddenly becomes your sadness too. And maybe that's why your tears feel close to me tonight, because even silence cannot fully separate connected souls. Maybe we were never supposed to belong to each other perfectly. Maybe timing failed us. Maybe life became complicated. Maybe distance grew larger than either of us expected. But none of that changes the fact that part of my heart still reaches for you during lonely nights. Especially lonely nights, because loneliness removes pride from people. It removes distractions, it removes the fake strength we show the world, and suddenly all that remains is honesty. And honestly, I miss you when the world becomes quiet. I miss the version of myself that felt understood by you. I miss the emotional safety your presence created. I miss conversations that felt real instead of forced. I miss the feeling of knowing someone cared deeply about my inner world. That kind of connection is difficult to replace. Most people communicate, but very few truly understand each other emotionally. Most people hear words while missing feelings completely. But you listened differently. You noticed emotional details other people ignored, and that made your love unforgettable. Maybe nobody tells you this enough, but emotionally intelligent people are rare. People who know how to protect another person's feelings carefully are rare. People who stay emotionally present during difficult moments are rare. You are rare. That's why losing connection with you hurts differently. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, like missing sunlight during winter, like noticing a song stopped playing halfway through, like reaching for something familiar and finding emptiness instead. And maybe tonight you feel emptiness too, Maybe your heart is exhausted from carrying love that had nowhere to go. Maybe you're tired of pretending certain memories no longer affect you. Maybe part of you still hopes somebody out there feels your absence as strongly as you feel theirs. I do, more than you realize. There are nights when I suddenly think about whether you're sleeping peacefully or fighting another silent battle alone. Nights where I wonder if anyone held your heart gently after all the pain you survived. Nights where I hope life eventually becomes softer with you, because you've already suffered enough emotionally. You deserved better than what hurt you. You deserved honesty instead of confusion, consistency instead of mixed signals, presence instead of abandonment. But life doesn't always give gentle hearts the love they deserve immediately. Sometimes sensitive souls spend years loving people who never fully understood their value, and that breaks something inside them slowly. I know parts of you became quieter after heartbreak. I know trust became harder. I know you stopped expressing emotions openly because disappointment kept punishing your vulnerability. But please don't lose your softness completely. The world will try to convince you that caring deeply is dangerous. It will teach you to detach, to stop feeling, to become emotionally unavailable, just to avoid pain. But your softness is not weakness. It's proof your soul stayed human in a world becoming emotionally numb. And one day, someone emotionally mature enough will recognize how precious that is. Someone will appreciate your loyalty instead of taking advantage of it. Someone will protect your heart instead of testing how much pain it can survive. Someone will stay. I wish I could promise that heartbreak disappears completely with time, but some people remain inside us forever, not always painfully. Sometimes they simply become part of our emotional landscape. A permanent chapter inside the soul. You became one of those chapters for me. That's why nights like this feel heavy. Because somewhere, maybe you're crying quietly. And somewhere else, I'm missing you in silence.